Hi, welcome to Tuesdays with Tara. I'm Tara Bundance, and today I'm going to talk about EFT for self approval, self acceptance, self love, self esteem. Basically, we're going to be countering limiting beliefs and ideas about ourselves that don't serve us and don't support us in growing and evolving and moving into or accepting the life that we really want and deserve. My goal here is not to explain EFT, it's to take you through a tapping process that supports us in accepting ourselves as we are and removing limiting beliefs and negative self-talk. So first I'm going to show you the points that we're going to tap on. We start with the karate chop point on either hand, and this is where we say our full statement. And then once we've said our full statement, we're going to start tapping through the points. First one is the top of the head. Next one's the forehead point. You can use 2 or 3 fingers, and you're just tapping lightly. Next point is the side of the eye. And again, you can do either side. The next point is under the eye, then under the nose, under the bottom lip, the collarbone point, and the point under our arm, just kind of right below the armpit. And then last, we're just sweeping it up and tapping it into the top of our head. And then we start over. The whole time we'll be saying some version of our statement and shifting our beliefs around how we feel about that statement. So when you think about how you feel about self-esteem, self-love, self-acceptance and approval, self-confidence, all of the things that help build who we believe ourselves to be. And if you have a low sense of self-esteem, or you have very high limiting beliefs, things that hold you back, things that are negative self-talk, then kind of think about a number from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest amount of that and 1 being the lowest amount of that, and see where you fit in to that range. If you have kind of low self-esteem and negative self-talk and lots of negative thoughts and beliefs that go on about yourself, then I would put you at the higher end of the mark. So somewhere in the 7, 8, 9, maybe even 10 range. And if you feel like you've got a lot of confidence, you've got a lot of self-esteem, you feel really good about yourself, you don't have a whole lot of negative self-talk, I'd put you on the lower end, somewhere in the 4, to 1 range. If you're somewhere in the middle, of course, just give yourself a 5 or a 6. And if you're on the low end, we can get it lower, right? And if you're on the high end, obviously our goal is to get it much lower. So as we're tapping, we'll take a pause and we'll breathe and we'll just check in with ourselves about the number. And if it feels like the number is going down, great, keep it up. And if you have to, start the video over and just keep going with the conversation that you're saying to yourself until you get it down at least 3 or 4 notches. The goal is to keep bringing it down. And if it doesn't work to get it down from a 9 to a 1 or a 2 today, that's all right. Keep coming back to this, do it over and over again until you get that number down. Because what you'll start noticing is throughout your day, your regular life, you're going to have less negative self-talk. You're going to have higher self-esteem, higher self-confidence. You're going to feel more comfortable and confident in your skin. So that's the goal. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing we need to do is come up with a phrase. So let's say we have a lot of negative self-talk and pretty low self-esteem. The goal would be to say something around, even though I have low self-esteem and lack of confidence, I still completely love and accept myself. Okay, so we're going to be saying the phrase about how we feel in this moment, because that's our truth now. That doesn't mean that it's going to continue to be our truth, because we're going to be changing the words as we go through the tapping process. So come up with a phrase that works for you. For me, I have pretty high confidence. And so coming up with a phrase for me would be something that looks more like, I'm ready to step more fully into embracing my confidence. So even though I'm not fully embracing my confidence, I completely love and accept myself. Or even though I still have some negative self-talk, I completely love and accept myself. Okay. But what I'm going to do today for the purpose of this tapping session is I'm going to take it to about an 8 or a 9. I'm going to call it an 8 or a 9 in terms of low self-esteem, high negative self-talk, things like that. Put it up on the high end. Okay. So I'm going to use the phrase, even though I have a lot of negative self-talk and I have very low self-esteem and self-confidence, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though confidence for me is a struggle, I still completely love and accept myself. Even though I'm working on building my self-esteem, I'm still feeling uncomfortable about it, but I do completely love and accept myself. So we usually say something in that realm around 3 or 4 times. Even though I feel like I have low self-confidence and low self-esteem, I still completely love and accept myself. All right, so we're going to start with the top of the head. This feeling of low self-esteem. I'm feeling this low self-esteem and I don't like it. But even though I have low self-esteem, I still completely love and accept and honor myself. Even though I have a lot of negative self-talk, I still completely love and accept myself. For some people, saying I love and accept myself might be a struggle. So you could say something like, even though I have a lot of negative self-talk, I'm still willing to completely love and accept and honor myself, because you're doing this practice. And so that's a proof or a sign that you are willing to do the work to love and accept yourself more. Even though I have a lot of negative self-talk and low self-esteem, I still am willing to completely love and accept and honor myself. This feeling of low self-esteem. This feeling of low self-esteem is very heavy and uncomfortable. And at the same time, I'm still willing to completely love and accept myself. So sweeping it up as you take a deep breath in, this feeling of negative self-talk. You can switch sides if you want to. Even though I have low self-esteem and self-confidence and self-approval, I still completely love and accept and honor myself. I'm still willing to completely accept that I deserve to love and honor myself. This feeling of low self-esteem, this feeling of self-annihilation, self-demolition, beating myself up, not believing in myself. Take a deep breath. Even though I have this feeling of negativity, low self-belief, I still completely love and honor myself. And I am willing to accept and love and honor myself. Take a deep breath. Tapping it in. Check in with yourself. Let's take a pause. Check in with yourself. How's that number? Has it gone down any? If it was an 8 or a 9, is it now down to 6 or 5? And if not, let's just keep tapping. And if it hasn't gone down at all, then find a different phrase, find some different wording that works for you, that feels more personal to you. Because right now I'm talking about things that I've worked on in the past. So this is a conversation that I had with myself several years ago when I was working on self-confidence and working on self-esteem. And it's definitely shifted. And so now, since it's been so many years, I can still tap into remembering what that felt like. But for me, if I were to be honest, I'd be somewhere in the 2 range with all of this. And that being said, it's still something that we can all work on, no matter how we are on this spectrum. We could still be somewhere along that spectrum at any given time. Sometimes we'll find ourselves in a certain situation. It might be talking with somebody that we think is beautiful, or it might be talking to our parents, or talking to a good friend who's very, very intelligent, and maybe we don't feel as smart as that friend. So those kind of times can show up where we go, oh, I just noticed my self-confidence just went way down. So you might think about those moments in this situation where we're tapping on low self-esteem. Be thinking about specific moments. You could say something like, let's go ahead and try this. Even though when I talk to someone intelligent or beautiful, I completely feel less than, I still am willing to completely love and accept and honor myself. Even though there are times when I feel negative self-talk rise, maybe when I'm in front of an audience or talking to someone that I don't know very well, I still completely love and honor and accept myself. Even though I feel negative self-talk pop up from time to time, I'm still willing to completely love, accept, and honor myself. Even though there are times when I feel just so negative about myself, I'm still willing to completely love, accept, and honor myself. Tapping in. This feeling of self-doubt, this feeling of low self-esteem, this negative self-talk, this feeling of lack of self-love, I am willing to accept, honor, and love myself. Low self-esteem, low self-confidence, negative self-talk. I'm still willing to completely love, honor, and accept myself. Let's check in. How are you feeling? What's your number now? Hopefully it's going down. And just continue finding words that work for you. You can keep going with the tapping process. And what I'm going to do next is I'm going to shift the energy. So let's say I started off as an 8, and I'm now down to about a 3. And I'm feeling like, whew, felt that big shift, might have had some emotional reaction, because that's what we're looking for sometimes. It's just like, do I start laughing? Do I start feeling angry? Do I start crying? Something can shift in within us because we're shifting the way our brain is communicating to itself. Okay, so if you feel something like big in you shift, that's a good sign that the numbers come down and you're ready to really embrace the new thought, the new energy. And whenever I find myself move from a high number to a low number and I feel some emotional response, release, I really let myself sit for a bit. I might just hold my heart. I might just love and honor myself. And then I like to shift the energy and say, I'm ready to accept and love myself just as I am. Okay, so that's a good one. So I might start with my chopping point now, because we're going to be shifting the energy to receiving. And so in this moment, I'm going to say, I am ready to accept, honor, and love myself at the highest level. I am ready to have more self-esteem. I'm ready to step into my self-confidence. I'm ready and willing to accept myself as I am. Before we get started now, after we've done that chopping part, think about a number. And because we're going to the positive, how high or low is that number? It's going to be reversed now. Okay. So because I'm saying something positive, it might start off as a 3, like, I'm ready, but not really feeling it yet. And as we tap, we want that number to go up. Okay. So now that we're doing a shift, or we're changing the way that we're wording this, we're going into the positive aspect of it. Think about where your number is now. If it's somewhere below 5, then we definitely want to raise that number. If it's above 5, I mean, you can keep going. You can raise it as high as you want to. But the main thing is really be tuned into and aware of how you feel around this phrase. I accept, honor, and love myself. I love myself just as I am. Okay. Let's go ahead and start at the top. I accept myself just as I am. Where's that number? Kind of feel into it. See that number being willing to go up. I'm willing to love, honor, accept, and respect myself just as I am, right where I am. Sometimes I move through the points pretty quickly. Other times I might stay on a point a little bit longer. I love, honor, accept, and respect myself. I'm completely willing to know myself at my highest and best good. I am completely willing to love, honor, accept, and respect myself just as I am. I am just who I need to be. I am wonderful just as I am. I love myself. I honor myself. I accept and respect myself. I am deserving of love. I am deserving of grace and peace and harmony in my life. I feel so good in my body. I'm so willing to love and honor and accept myself exactly where I am. I am who I need to be right here and right now. I feel so good in my own skin. Check out where that number is. Breathing into these phrases. I love myself so much, and I keep showing it by practicing tools like this. I completely love, honor, accept, and respect myself. Tapping it in. Sometimes I like to put my hand on top of my head to really bring it in, bring it into my pineal gland, which goes all the way down through my chakras, down to my feet, feeling into where I am right now. How are you feeling around self-love, self-acceptance, self-esteem, and self-confidence? Do you hear any negative self-talk right now? And if you do, go back to the first part. Even though I hear these things in my head, I completely love and accept myself. But right now, if you're feeling pretty good, positive, uplifted, the energy's high, and you've gone to a higher number in that positive range for the positive statements, right now, even though I started off pretty high, I'm like way up there. I'm around a 9 or a 10 right now, and just feeling really good about where I am right here, where I am right now. Every day it's going to look different. So accept the possibility that tomorrow those negative thoughts could possibly come back. They might not. They might never come back. But the great thing is that we get to go back to this practice. We get to keep tapping. We get to keep doing the work. That's what this is for you to do the work. And because you're willing, you are right up there with some of the highest minds in the world. Those who are willing to work on themselves, they show up, they do the work. And that's what you're doing right here. I'm so proud of you. I'm so excited for you to really lean into feeling better about who you are. I look forward to seeing you next week, which will start our new month of March. Have a great day.